How's it going, everyone? Matt and Tyler back from Bachmann for the May New Model Monday Live, and boy, do we have a lot of stuff to cover in this episode.
Yeah, we sure do. We've got some very exciting upcoming models, both some decorated samples as well as a new engineering sample to show off. We got some brand new train sets, which you can see over Matt's shoulder, which we'll be talking about. Uh, should be a good one.
It should be. So I don't know what can we talk about to catch everyone up with what's been going on with Bachmann.
Well, it's been a kind of a quiet couple of weeks, but things are going to start picking up over the summer here. We have some more train shows coming up. I'll be at the National N Scale Convention in Milwaukee coming up at the end of June, and then a couple weeks after that, first weekend in August, we will be at as always, at the NMRA National Train Show. This year, it's in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
And we will have a couple of shows in between as well. You can find our newly updated show schedule on our website, which now has every show listed that we are aware that we're going to be at this year. It can always change. Sometimes there'll be some last minute additions, but we'll always let you know. You can follow us on our social media, or you can actually, the best way for finding out about shows is to subscribe to our newsletter, because we always update the week or two before the show that we'll be wherever we'll be. So, yeah, don't want to do too much chit chat here because, like I said, we got a lot to cover, and I think everyone's here for probably the same reason. So, Tyler, I'm going to hand it over to you, and I think let's not keep people waiting any longer.
Yeah, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about the model that we teased in the teaser image that came out yesterday, and that is for our award-winning HO scale Spectrum 80-ton truck Shay, making its return to the line. As you can see here, the Model Railroader Reader's Choice Award in 2000 for HO scale locomotive and product of the year. But it's definitely seen some improvements for this run over that first run back in 2000. So it's making its return after 15 years after the most recent production run. And let's just get right into it. So here we have the Cass Scenic Railroad, always a very popular road name. And our model is specifically based on the Cass Scenic Railroad number 5, originally in service on the West Virginia Paper and Pulp Company's lines. It also passed through a couple other ownerships, the Mower Lumber Company. But of course, it is in preservation and operation today on the Cass Scenic Railroad. And the improvements that I mentioned for this locomotive now comes with, as has been highly requested, it has all metal gears in both the trucks and inside the gearbox here to make it run more reliably than ever. Had a couple of questions about if those metal gears will be backwards compatible with the older Shays, and yes, they will be. Once they are in stock, we will have some spare parts so that you can repair your existing Shay from one of the previous runs if you've had any issues with it. It also has, for the first time in this production run, Soundtrack Tsunami 2 on board, the latest sound package. Last time we made the Shay, it did have Tsunami on board. Now it's got Tsunami 2 with all the latest and greatest soundtracks features. And aside from that, we've also just have the cast number 5 here in its current appearance with the gold pinstripes going all the way around the tender, as well as the coal bunker.
That's a little bit of a little bit of a change from the last time we did Shay number 5.
That's correct. And it has all the same, great fine scale spectrum detailing that you've come to expect. It's a little hard to get it all on camera, but you will look at the cab. You've got painted cab walls and seats there. You've got actual separately applied control levers on the detailed backhead there. You have, of course, the working Shay gears that propel the locomotive just like the prototype. You go up here. You got your separately applied bell, whistles, dynamo. All the road names in this release have road name specific details from the stacks to the coal or oil bunker, type of cab, the placement of the bells and the whistles and the dynamo. Going around to the front here, you have the, of course, that finely printed number board on the front, working easy mate couplers on the front and rear, separately applied uncoupling lever. We'll take it around to the fireman's side here. Not quite as exciting. You don't have all those gears there, but it is, true to life. All the separately applied piping going down the side there. And here's a look at the rear of the tender with the backup light and all the separately applied piping and drain valves. It's just it's hard to put into words, if you've never seen this locomotive before, all the separately applied detail that it comes with.
Yeah, it's really a remarkable locomotive and a testament to Lee Riley as well, the designer and lover of logging railroads, who was in charge of the original production.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you definitely see the care and the attention to detail and handiwork that went into it. So we think the cast will be of course, a very popular release as a locomotive that's in preservation today. We also have a brand new road name, and you may have seen it in the teaser. And it's not exactly a secret. We announced these locomotives back in our 2025 mid-year announcements, but just to show it in person, here we have what we're calling around here just simply the Red Shay, but this is the Pickering Lumber Company number 12. This locomotive, it is not on display or in operation currently, but it is preserved at the Niles Canyon Railway in California. And, it's obviously a very distinctive, painted, mostly red compared to most steam locomotives and Shays, which are black. And the story behind that was in the area that the Pickering Lumber Company operated. There was a standard gauge line, which this Shay would have operated on. And there was a narrow gauge line from a competing lumber company in the vicinity. And with steam locomotives running through California forest, there was always the threat of a forest fire. So the Pickering wanted to make sure that they were not going to get blamed for any forest fires that might start. So they painted, for a time, they did go back to, I believe they went back to black later on, but for a time they painted their locomotives red so that if a forest fire started, then if anyone accused them, they could say, no, it wasn't us. It was the narrow gauge railroad with their black locomotives. So that's the story behind this very distinctive paint job. You have the Pickering Lumber logo there on the oil bunker. This is an oil burning locomotive with the pickaxe through the circle. Pickering Lumber Company lettering on the tender. I'm going to see if I can hold up both this and the casts at the same time so you can see some of these details better. You can see the Pickering has a just a standard straight stack, and the cast has a more of a balloon stack with a spark arrestor on top, and that's made out of real wire mesh. The screen going across the top of that stack on the cast. And of
Really
course,
nice locomotive.
there's some slight differences in detail on the bunkers as well. Obviously, with the coal and the oil loads. I'll take it around and show the opposite side as well.
Yeah, it's such a cool looking paint scheme. And this actually was repainted back into its red scheme when it was first operating with the Niles Canyon Railway back in the 70s, I believe. We do have some photos that we sourced from online so you can see the real life model here. So I'm going to put that onto the screen. So there's This is a kind of a, saturated photo, so the red looks a little brighter than it actually was there. And the next one will give you a better idea of the match, but um, there is the red Shay in all its glory in reality. We'll go to the next picture, which is more of an accurate color tone here. There you go. So very cool looking and unique looking paint scheme, and one that we're happy to be able to reproduce. It's something that's been talked about since the Shay was first in the Bachmann line, um, as Tyler said way back in 2000, and nobody dared tackle it until now. So here it is.
Hmm. And this was when it was restored to service. It was on the originally on the it was the Pacific Lumber Association, I believe, owned it. It operated a couple places, the Castro Point Railway, and it participated in Expo '86 in Vancouver, which was the last time it operated before it went into because it was in need of an inspection. So it's been at the Niles Canyon since 2005. Not currently on public display, and has not been cosmetically restored at this time. Uh, but the I believe the Niles Canyon has gone on the record saying they do plan to, in the future, give it a restoration, possibly full operation.
It'd be awesome if they do. So do we have any others to show off here?
We do, and I just wanted to make sure I get my information straight here before I show these. We have one more prototypical road name in this release. We have the Clear Lake Lumber Company #2. Unlike the Cass 5 and the Pickering 12, this locomotive did not survive into preservation, but this is an authentic road name. The Clear Lake Lumber Company operated out of Washington State and had a couple of Shays, including this 80-ton 3-truck Shay. You can see here it's got the straight stack, much like the Pickering does. This is one that I'm not as much to say. It was actually very interesting. We have a Shay book that tabulates every Shay that was ever built. That was put out by White River Publications a couple years back, and we managed to find this one that suited the prototype that our model is based on, and we were able to go off some very small black and white photos, low resolution, to be able to determine the paint scheme for this. But it's very simple and understated, but I think it's very typical of what you would see from a lot of Shays during their operating lives.
Yeah, these are industrial locomotives. They weren't designed to be flashy.
No, they were not. It also, creates a perfect base for doing your custom weathering jobs on.
Definitely.
And finally, for those of you who have your own freelance fair loads or want to do some customization, we do have a painted and lettered in this release, as we typically like to do with these kinds of locomotives. This particular one features the wood cab, which earlier models had, unlike the steel cabs on the other free road names in this release. You can see here it has the spark arrestor like the Cass does. This comes with it also has an early oil burning headlight. And a oil burning headlight on the rear as well. So you're feel free to paint and decal them to your liking for a prototype road name or for your custom freelance railroad. You could even make another red Shay if you really wanted to. All of these Shays will come with a couple of optional accessory parts for the modeler to install. There's a couple of different toolboxes that can be placed on different locations on the running board of the locomotive and the tender. For the coal burning Shays, I don't have the parts with me, but I can show just quickly that if it'll come out. But The coal load here is actually removable. If you like, you can have an empty bunker. It comes with some support brace details that can be put inside the bunker here. Uh,
So if you want to use actual coal, or some modelers do just have a lower load in there, that's good for that as well.
yeah, exactly. We have some on the left side. There's some mounting brackets for a siphon hose that is also included. It's a very long, bendy hose that goes along the side of the running board here. Uh, Many of these backwoods logging railroads, they might not have a water tower, or maybe at a part of the line that doesn't have a water tower, so they would siphon out water from the nearest water source, a creek or a river or a lake, in order to refuel the locomotive.
They actually did that when I rode on the Durban rocket many years ago. Before the line was reconnected with Cass, they had um, it was a what was it? It was Climax that was there, that they had exclusively on that section, and that's exactly what they did with that. They didn't have a water tower or anything. They just they when they came to the river bridge on the railroad, they stopped there. They threw the hose down at the river, and that's how they refilled the water tank.
That's cool. I've never been to Cass myself, but it's of course on my bucket list to be able to go there. And it's very remote and isolated, but just such an authentic logging railroad
It's
experience.
definitely worth the trip. It's one of those. I would call it a wonder of the world. It's just there's nothing like it. The sights, the sounds, incredibly loud sounds. It's just it's one of those places that needs to be experienced.
It really is. We do have a couple of questions here. I know we're not to the Q&A here, but while we're talking about the Shay, I wanted to answer some of them. So I had a question about if these are die-cast or plastic, and it's a bit of a combination where the frame, the boiler, and the tender bodies, as well as the coal and oil loads, are die-cast, and then certain other parts like the domes and the actually the cab is die-cast as well. Most of the other detail parts are plastic. The truck frames are die-cast as well. All the gearing here is die-cast. Uh, So yeah, it is primarily die-cast construction, which will give it plenty of weight and tractive effort. And as far as specific replacement head parts, they will not come with different stacks or replacement headlights out of the box. Um, that is something that we'll look into offering through our parts department.
Mm.
We do already have from the previous production runs. We have some various we do have a couple of different spare parts. We've got different styles of bell, the whole boiler assembly, different boiler doors, all the different varieties of cabs with all the different road names, a couple of pop valves, and diamond stacks and generators. Those are all things that will not be included in the box. Especially with the headlights, that's something that has to be assembled at the factory level. But we'll make sure to have plenty of spare parts that you can purchase directly from Bachmann if you want to do any more advanced customization.
I did see a couple of questions as well. I'll scroll to see if I can see them. Release time frame. We're hoping to see these hopefully by the end of the year, if all things are equal. But we don't have a specific deadline for them yet.
Yeah, I'm going to take a look at our shipping schedule to see if they at least have a month yet. But we'll make sure to have some nice high resolution photos of these as well, uploaded later this week so that you can see all those fine spectrum details up close.
Mhm. Let's see. I do want to look up our MSRP because I don't know it offhand. So our MSRP is $7.99 for these. In reference to one question on here. Now, of course, MSRP is usually significantly higher than what you'll be able to find them for at a retail store. So we recommend shopping around and checking out your favorite model railroad retailer because you'll more than likely find a lower price.
And it looks like it's all subject to change, but we're looking at tentatively having them in stock in November.
Oh, great. I'm definitely excited for that, especially that Clear Lake Lumber one.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that's pretty much everything there is to say about the Shays for now. Like Tyler said, we'll be publishing some more detailed photos and videos at a later point. We'll try and get to it this week. If not, it'll be in the not too distant future. But we have a lot of stuff to cover, so work through it all. And right now we have a lot of stuff to cover. So, Tyler, what else? What else have you got?
Yeah, so this was shown on Facebook a couple weeks ago, and then it was sent out. We had it on display at the Rocky Mountain Train Show, so we haven't had it back in the office to show on the live stream yet. But we want to show it off again for those who may have missed it. This is our brand new 50-foot double decker 4-car auto carrier. Uh, of course, automobile transportation, is one of the biggest carloads on freight railroads in the modern day, and that really started back in the late 1950s, early 1960s. And uh, our model is a bit of an interesting one. It's, of course, much smaller than the 89-foot cars that you see today, but it is based on a real prototype, which I think Matt has a photo of.
I,
And
I yeah, I wasn't able to find it unfortunately.
okay,
It's here on the hard drive somewhere, but I don't have it
Mhm.
available to pull up.
Yeah, but this is it is based on a real prototype, and it's actually one of the very first auto carriers. It was a prototype design that was built in house by the Frisco Railroad, using an existing flat car with this steel deck superstructure built on top of it to experiment with having two layers of automobiles to be transported by rail. Of course, in old days, up to that point, you did have automobiles being transported by rail in boxcars, and as the automobile industry got bigger and automobiles got larger, boxcars were no longer sufficient. So this was really representing the beginning of railroads exploring automobile transportation. So you can see our model actually comes with four brand newly tooled sedans. It's a 1950s era design. Takes inspiration from a couple of different makes and models. Not anything specific in particular, uh, but we wanted to make sure that this car had the automobiles right out of the box to give it some play value for the younger modelers and families out there, and just to not make it look completely empty.
Uh,
It'll fit.
And it's worth pointing out also that we've had a lot of people ask why didn't we put a real car on there? Why is it a representation of a 50s era car? The short answer is um, if we were to do the likeness of a real car, we'd have to pay for licensing from a car manufacturer, which isn't necessarily impossible for the future, but it would drive up the price for the initial release. So doing something proprietary allows us to offer this at a more competitive rate.
Mhm. Yeah, of course. Once this model comes out, if you want to swap out the Bachmann cars for any other model car that you have, of course they'll fit right on there. You can actually probably fit uh, 6 cars, 3 on the top deck and 3 on the lower deck. But
Definitely Mini Coopers at least.
yes.
And just another note is these cars don't have moving wheels. And I actually asked Tyler when they came in. I said, why do these not have moving wheels? We should give them the maximum amount of flexibility and all that. And he reminded me that very good reason that when you have this car running around on the railroad, you probably don't want the cars rolling back and forth as it goes down the track.
Yeah, you don't want that. They do have a little movement to them, as you can see, but they're not going to go rolling off immediately as they would if they were free rolling wheels. The
But
new
they do have
1949
very good
Bachmann,
detail.
the new 1949 Bachmann Plastic Villa sedan, in stores now.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyway, here's a closer look at the auto carrier without the sedans on it. So you can see here, just like the prototype, it has the original flat car wooden deck, but then a steel deck on top. It also has, you'll see these unloading ramps, which are attached both to the lower deck and the upper deck. And the reason there's only one on each side is that if you had multiples of these cars in a consist, that you could just fold the ramps down and they would rest one on the one on each other car. So you would have this ramp fold down onto the next flat car, and then the other car would fold down on top of that. And that made it. That was how they would unload and load the cars at terminals. So that's what we have. That's pretty much all we have for our auto carrier here. Something a little bit different from the other auto carriers on the market. Fits right in the early diesel era, the first generation from the late 1950s into the early 1960s, and represents the very beginnings of this industry.
Yeah, I believe the Frisco car, the prototype, was actually, I think it actually debuted in like 52 or 53. So it's,
Okay. Even earlier than I thought.
yeah,
Yeah, and we'll hopefully have some painted samples to show in the next couple of weeks. Pennsylvania or Frisco is one of the four road names in that release, along with the Pennsylvania, New York Central, and the Chesapeake and Ohio. So stay tuned for more updates.
yeah, looking forward to seeing the painted samples of those. And then you have one more or two more items to show, right?
I do, yeah, and
And they
this
kind
is
of tie into the Shay in a adjacent way, but not exactly.
yeah, it does in a way because we actually have had Cass as one of the road names for this for a while, but we're referring to our HO scale bobber cabooses. We've got two new road names for these. Uh, this is a standard gauge design. We do have both a standard gauge and a narrow gauge railroad here to represent them. But we have here Strasburg Railroad, one of the two new road names, featuring what's often referred to as the egg logo. That appeared in various forms from when the railroad started in the 1960s up until I would say the mid 1990s. And the caboose number 10, I know was there in the 1970s. It's no longer at the railroad. I believe this may or may not be correct. I have to do further research, but I think it may be the same one that is in the Railroad Museum in Pennsylvania now, the Huntington and Broadtop Mountain bobber caboose.
Hmm.
And then the narrow gauge one I mentioned, the Rio Grande Southern, number 0401.
Still a standard gauge model, of course.
Yes, it is. Of course, runs on regular HO track. It is representing a narrow gauge prototype, but kind of a unique look here with all the white trim it has on here, on all the handrails, but also around the roof, both on the cupola and the main roof.
That's actually a nice, could be a nice option for a like a what if the Rio Grande Southern had standardized like some of the other narrow gauge railroads did.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, the Strasburg, of course, is our latest addition to our line of Strasburg Railroad items. We started off with the 40-foot tonner a couple of years ago, and we also have the upcoming 1900s era passenger cars. So this will fit right in, especially with the 44 tonner. They would have been on the railroad in the same time frame, and that'll join a pretty big group of road names we already have for this caboose. And as I mentioned, Cass Scenic Railroad is one of the ones in the line currently.
It is. along with many others. But yeah, those bobber cabooses are always fun. They're it's funny. They almost look cartoon like with their little four wheel trucks, but they are real prototypes and a great model for layouts of any size. So if you have a small layout with tight curves, they'll perform really well on those.
Absolutely. We do have, one more HO freight car that's actually on your desk that we can show off.
We do. All right, so let me let's see. Here we go. All right, so we got a few things to talk about back here, but we'll start out with the freight car. That is the latest addition to our standard range of 100-ton Bethlehem steel hoppers. And this is a little bit different from the previous ones we've done because this is not a freight railroad. This is actually for the Metro North Railroad, the New York Area Commuter Railroad, and it's a representation of their ballast hoppers that they have in their maintenance of way fleet. So this is a officially licensed MTA product. It'll be coming out later this year. Also, it's a paint scheme kind of unlike any other that we've done for this car before. Really nice and vibrant. I really like especially the white grab irons and stirrups. And then, of course, you've also got a few modern details, like you've got the conspicuity striping along the side, and you've got the ballast load in there. This is only the second car we've done in this range, I believe, to have a ballast load, the other being the Western Maryland. And if I can take this load out, another feature I like about this is we've also painted the inside of the car a different color. So the inside is kind of a rust brown, which is authentic to the prototype as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about these a little bit on our when we talked about the weathered versions, which I'll just briefly show up a sample of that just for reference. Just like those, this will be coming with the interior bracing fully constructed, the weights installed, and it'll come with 100-ton roller bearing trucks, which are all upgrades from previous versions of this model.
Yeah, absolutely. We wanted to upgrade it to the trucks that most operators used. For these 100-ton capacity cars. Some railroads still use the 70-ton trucks, which we had on these cars up to this point, but the 100-ton truck was more common, so we upgraded it to that with the 36-inch wheels. And previously, the slope sheets and weights and the braces were all parts that had to be installed by the customer, and now these cars will come fully assembled, ready to run straight from the factory.
And the load is just a simple slot-in load, and slot it in and take it out. So you can run it in a loaded or empty configuration.
There you have it.
And we've also got a couple of new train sets that we have samples of to talk about here. So we'll start with the first one back here, which is, of course, the DeWitt Clinton. This is a set that we've had in the line a couple of times in the past few years, but it's been brought back this time with some improvements, a more high-fidelity paint scheme. It's got a improved smooth-running drive mechanism, and I'll open the flap here so you can see it. Here's the train itself. This is, to my knowledge, for right now, this is the only early railroading era, as we would classify it, train set available on the market, or will be when it comes out. So this is perfect for anybody who likes modeling the very beginning of the railroading story in North America. And
Absolutely.
Nice. It's got some flashy new packaging. And then see here also comes with 47 by 38 Ovalo Snap Fit Easy Track and speed controller, so you can get running right out of the box in about 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was first built in 1831. The first locomotive built in New York State, one of the earliest American-built locomotives. So it was scrapped by 1833. But if it was, it has been almost 200 years since it was first built.
And there was a replica that was built for the New York Central Railroad. I believe was it for a World Fair.
For the 1893 Columbian Exposition.
There you go. And that one is still in existence now at the Henry Ford in Dearborn, Michigan, which we actually had a chance to see when we were at the NMRA National Train Show in outside of Detroit last year.
Yes, we did. It was very cool to see that, especially how they have it on track right next to the Chesapeake and Ohio Allegheny, showing just how much steam locomotive technology advanced over 100 years.
Yeah, pretty amazing. So that's the DeWitt Clinton, soon to be returning to the line. And another set we have here. I'm going to box out first. This is the Golden Spike, which is a brand new set, paying tribute to the Union Pacific Railroad in the transition era. Comes with a F7 diesel locomotive, a 40-foot gondola, 40-foot boxcar, single dome tank car, and then of course a offset cupola caboose as well. So everything you need to start out with if you're getting somebody into the hobby, or if you're just returning to the hobby or getting started in the hobby yourself, it's a great entry-level set. And it'll get you off and running with a nice, colorful mixed train. A few details
Yeah,
to note about
absolutely.
this set. We do have a sample out of the box to show here. So here's the F7 diesel. It does have some details that are specific to Union Pacific, or not specific to Union Pacific, but were appropriate for Union Pacific, like it's got the secondary headlight here, both of these headlights do light up. And it's also got a read-on paint scheme so it's not a carbon copy of previous Union Pacific F units we've done. And I'll quick look at the cars. There's the State of Maine boxcar, which is very popular, red, white, and blue scheme. Got the gondola from our neck of the woods, which is the Lehigh Valley, and the nice green scheme here. Adjacent to our neck of the woods, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Got the Eastman Chemicals single dome tank car here. And then, of course, the classic Union Pacific yellow caboose here. So, like I said, a great entry-level set, perfect for somebody getting into the hobby, getting back into the hobby, or if you want to share it with a family member or a friend. It's a great gift set.
Yeah.
And Tyler, any comments on that?
Yeah, I just want to say this was completely unplanned, but I guess it would have been just this past weekend was the anniversary of the Golden Spike
Oh, that's
ceremony,
right. Yeah.
the completion of the transcontinental railroad. So it was of course we've recognized that in the past. We had the transcontinental set that we put out for the 150th anniversary back in 2019. We have the Jupiter and the Union Pacific 119 locomotives in separate sale now. So the Golden Spike, this Golden Spike set, kind of just not obviously not from that era, but recognizing the Union Pacific as the participant in the transcontinental railroad construction.
Yeah.
I actually have Matt, and I'm going to email this to you in a second. Somebody, I guess, from the past weekend at the Golden Spike National Historic Park had their Bachmann model set up from the Golden Spike ceremony.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that'll be something for our social media. I can show it on the stream too, I guess, since we're talking about it now.
Yeah, I'll shoot that right over to you.
All right, let's see. And in the meantime, that set, I think we're expecting that set to arrive probably. I need to check the schedule, but I believe late summer is or early fall is when we're expected to see it. So it'll definitely be here in time for the holidays. And let's see, that should be Tyler dinging in here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's very cool. Yeah, let me bring that up.
This is via Mike Jet Eater on the model trains subreddit.
I just got to see where it went. There it is. There you go. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that reminds me of I was there at the Spike 150 event, which is pretty amazing. Before I worked for Bachmann, but it was definitely cool seeing those locomotives in person.
Hmm.
And we've been told there may be some changes coming to them in the future, so that'll be interesting to see as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the on the prototype, those replica locomotives are looking to potentially update the liveries based on new historical research.
All right, so let's see. So last but not least, I do want to give an update as to what has come out recently, and we talked a little bit about some of the other things, the new products that have arrived recently last time, like the East Broad Top Rocket Limited Passenger Set No N30. That's now available pretty much everywhere. But probably the most anticipated item for this year, which is the Dreyfus Hudson, the streamlined Dreyfus Hudson, is now shipping to retailers, and you should be able to find them hitting the shelves just about now. These are beautiful late 1930s era or 1940 era for the second paint scheme locomotives. You've got the choice of the skull under the box buck drivers, the 1938 or the 1940 20th Century Limited paint scheme. They come with TCS Wow Sound. With I actually went through the all of the whistle options. Maybe we should make a video or a reel of that or something, because it took a good 10-15 minutes to get through all of the whistle options on there. There's an amazing amount of customization you can do to these models for the sounds, and they of course also come with die-cast metal construction on the boiler as well. Really nice locomotives.
They really are, and for the you'll want to make sure you pick up the 1938 20th Century Limited passenger cars that we have in stock now as well to give yourself a complete consist.
Yep. We have a video out on our YouTube channel right now. It's the most recent video posted, and you'll see the whole train in action there. Actually, at Tyler's Club.
Yes, the Charlton Hills Model Railroad Club was. We apologize if you can hear the ice cream truck in the background there. It's not a very fitting soundtrack. But yeah, the Charlton Hills Model Railroad Club in Elkins Park, Pennsylvania. Was grateful. Was kind enough to open up their doors to us and let us shoot the product video there. I should mention, speaking of layouts, you may have seen on last Friday that the building a layout with Bachmann series is back on our YouTube channel and Facebook, and we are back at work on our new photo and video shoot layout, and looking forward to putting out more episodes over the next few months.
I like the ice cream emoji. My name Dan just sent.
Yeah.
I know, hearing it outside here, it's very tempting not to just run outside and grab one. But yeah, building a layout with Bachmann is back. We're pretty busy over the winter months with getting the Bachmann catalog together and preparing our mid-year or our end-of-year announcements, and all that stuff. And then of course it's show season too, so there's a lot going on. And we're thank you for being patient. Those of you who've been following the series, we should be posting a little bit more regularly as we go through the summer here. But yeah, it's been fun building this layout and watching it come together, and looking forward to we're finally at the stage now where it's kind of all creative from this point onwards rather than constructive. Everything at this point is it's scenery and getting the details in place. So that's probably my favorite part of building a layout.
Yeah, definitely is for me. Not that the whole thing isn't fun, but that's really the fun part. making it truly come alive as a miniature world.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think that pretty much wraps up everything that we have to show here. So we can jump into our Q&A. I'll start from the top. If you want to start from the bottom, Tyler, and we'll try and get through as many questions as we can before we call it a day.
Yeah, let's do it. Have a couple of comments about the Shays, I guess, for people may have missed the beginning of the live stream. So here it is again. Shays will are currently scheduled to release in November of this year, subject to change, of course. That's what we have on our schedule right now. And response to the question, have you fixed the gears? Yes, as I mentioned earlier, these do have all metal gears, both on the trucks and the bevel gears in the drivetrain right here in the middle of the locomotive. And they will be backwards compatible. The new metal gears can be used to repair the older models, which had plastic gears.
I have a question. There are actually a few questions throughout the stream about whether we'd have any new Thomas and Friends updates on the stream. We don't have anything new. Mainly that's because we actually just did a Thomas Tuesday with Train World last week. So if you go to their social media, or we actually linked it to ours as well, you'll be able to watch that video where we do go through a more in-depth update of everything that's going on with Thomas and Friends. So make sure to check that out.
Do you have the LBSC Thomas in there?
No, no. In fact, that stuff, none of that stuff has made its return to the office yet. It's still sitting in my house.
You stranded him.
Yeah. Well, he'll come back eventually when I remember he's in the spare room.
Mm-hmm. We have some N scale questions here. Do we have any news on the N scale Via Rail cab car? Update I have at the moment is that we are awaiting the shipment of the decoders from TCS. We'll send those along to our factory, and we expect once they receive the decoders and get them installed, should be a pretty quick turnaround. And we are expecting to get those in later this year. And also a question about an N scale Acela train. That has been a very popular request, especially since we came out with the Acela 2, the next gen Acela in HO scale. As far as N scale, we don't have any immediate plans. It's something that we'll definitely consider. If we were going to do the Acela in N scale, more likely we would do the next gen Acela as opposed to the legacy Acela. The legacy Acela, of course, was not a perfect design with having the drivetrain in the cafe car as opposed to the powered cars. And we think the interest is going to be there more for the current, the next gen Acela.
Mhm.
So it's something we'll consider, but we don't have any plans in the near future.
But never say never.
That's right.
I do have a question here about whether the Shay number 5 will be available through the Cass Scenic Railroad store. I'm not familiar with whether we have an account set up with them or not. That would be our sales team. But if not, definitely let them know you'd be interested to see them for sale there. And they'd definitely be able to reach out to us and set up an account.
Mm-hmm. Have a couple of questions asking about when we'll have updates on the Grand Canyon Railway set that we are announced this year. And it didn't arrive quite in time for this live stream, but we do have a sample on the way of the Grand Canyon set, and we'll be showing it very soon on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Looking forward to seeing that one. A question here: is Bachmann strictly locomotives? Well, I would assume if you continue watching the stream, that question is probably answered for you. But
Mm-hmm.
no, we have probably more rolling stock than we do locomotives in HO N scale, ON 30, 3 rail O scale, and in large scale. So says you said you don't have a catalog. If you go to our website, bachmanntrains.com, and click on the catalogs tab, you can actually download a copy of our current catalog to browse, or you can order a physical copy if you'd rather have a tangible copy to read. I have another question here about will we be doing any modern day tank cars with roller bearings in our HO scale line? Um, as you can imagine, I'm sure it's something that's come up in discussion. No plans right now, but you never know what might happen in the future.
Yeah, we've been slowly starting to introduce more modern, or at least modern within the past 30 years or so, freight cars in HO scale. Started out with the Quail car. More recently, we've had the Trinity 5161 three-bay covered hopper. So we're kind of just starting to dip our toes into modern rolling stock. But a tank car is something that we'd certainly be interested in having as part of that line.
Definitely. Somebody here asking for an update on the 1900s era passenger cars. Those are expected to ship, I believe, within the next month or so from the factory. Of course, it takes a little while for them to cross the water, so expect to see them this summer.
The track radius on the Hudsons, uh, our minimum recommended radius is 22-inch curves.
Which on a prototype railroad would be pretty tight.
Yeah.
I've got a question. Are we going to make any more of the cast roster? We have in the past. If we do more geared locomotives again, which you never know what might happen, we'd certainly be bringing those paint schemes out again, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Grand Canyon, someone said since you guys are making Grand Canyon 29, will you ever be able to make 4960? 4960 is a little bit more of a unique locomotive, which would involve considerable new tooling. So it's not impossible, but it's not something that we would be looking to do in the immediate future.
Yeah, and kind of under the same reasoning, since there's a couple people asking about Strasbourg locomotives to go with the bobber caboose and the passenger cars, that would definitely be the next logical step. Of course, Strasbourg's three currently operating locomotives and their historic locomotives are all pretty unique compared to what we have existing tooling for, but we know there's definitely some interest there. So, you know, uh, we would love to do it someday, but I can't say to expect it in the near future.
And also just on the cast theme, we also, of course, one thing we do have in the line right now is our cast design open passenger car, our open excursion car. So that is a perfect car if you want to have a modern cast scenic railroad tourist train running on your layout. I also seen questions about new large scale, particularly 1 to 20th scale. We don't have any plans for anything new in that size right now. We're kind of we're focusing on coming through our working on our 129 scale standard gauge announcements and getting those out. We've got a ton of new Dash 9s, which are in the works right now. So once we're through expanding the 129 scale range a little bit, because it's a brand new scale for us, we want to make sure there's a good amount of product out there for people to buy. We'll we'll definitely be revisiting what we can do in narrow gauge as well. Let's see, what about Amtrak Aero trains and Venture married pairs and N scale? The Venture married pairs will I'd say there's a good chance we'll see them in N scale. What do you think, Tyler?
I think there's a good chance.
A lot of product requests. We really appreciate them. It gives us a great insight into what the general consensus for demand out there is. So we appreciate it, and we do read all the comments.
Absolutely. There was one comment asking about if the mid-year announcements have been decided, and they have not yet. We're going to be having some internal discussions about that based on what we're seeing in the market right now, what we're the feedback we're getting from comments like this, and what our manufacturing partners are ready to go into tooling with before we decide that.
But stay tuned because it's not too long now. And I should say we do have some ideas. We're not completely in the dark for what we're going to do right now. We have ideas, but nothing's finalized yet.
Mhm.
So we'll have to wait till early August to find out. Well, that's all I have from the comment section here. Got anything else you'd like to add, Tyler?
I think I've answered just about all the questions that we can answer. I'll do my usual spiel here that, as always, if you didn't get your question answered, or if you're not watching the stream live, if you're watching the replay afterwards, uh, leave a question, leave a comment on the Facebook or the YouTube post, or you can send us an email, info@bachmanntrains.com.
Absolutely. Now, with all that being said, I hear the ice cream truck outside again. I think I might try and run out and see if it's still there.
Yeah.
So we'll catch you next time.
Catch you next time.